Hello, everybody. Coach Allison back, and we are in week 10 for Defy Aging. Those of you who have been with us long enough know that every 10 weeks we do, or on all of the increments of 10, so 10, 20, 30, we do mobility. So it is another mobility week here in Defy Aging. So we have this week 6 stations, and we're going to go through that only 2 times. And that's because we're only doing 2 rounds because they're going to be long intervals. We're going to do 60 seconds on, 30 seconds off. I like to dedicate 60 seconds to these because typically mobility movements, you want them to be very focused, typically slower, to just be cautious, be careful, and focus a lot of mind-muscle connection, and again, focus with these movements. So that is why we are only doing 2 rounds, even though there are only 6 stations. So let's go through those demonstrations, and we do have a kind of a fun little finisher for this week as well. It won't be a team builder because you're going to be working independently, but it is a fun little coordination finisher, and we'll review that at the end. Okay, our first one is called a 90-90 rotation. For the shoulders, however, we've done a 90-90 mobility, and that was for the hips. This one's also called probably a couple of other things as well. So it's tricky. It looks simple, but to do it correctly, it's actually pretty tricky. So first step is making a goal post. You can do palms open or like a gentle fist, whatever feels more natural to you. And I recommend doing this one maybe in front of a mirror because this one is hard to tell what our body is doing and that it's doing all the movements and the positioning correctly unless you are seeing yourself do it. Trust me. So I recommend doing this one in front of a mirror. First thing is already kind of tricky because if we aren't seeing this and we're just thinking we're doing this, our arm might be too low. Also, we want to make sure our arm is straight out from our body. If we aren't looking in the mirror to make sure that that's happening, our arm might be kind of forward in front of our body like this. All reasons why the mirror is helpful. The rotation part is coming forward and down until our arm is parallel to the floor and coming back up. And this is going to be a nice slow movement. And we aren't going to go lower than 90. There is a version of this, which is something different, where you do go past parallel. We aren't going to do that. Reason being, that can actually create some other problems. The most common one is unless you're really proficient in it, it can cause shrugging like this. It can cause protracting the shoulders, so pushing those shoulders forward. We're just not going to deal with that. We're going to keep it safe and in a really good positioning and all of that good stuff. We're going to stop at parallel to the floor and go back up. Okay, now you can progress this if you would like to and grab some very light weights. I recommend 2s or 3s at about max, because weight is not the goal with this. Mobility is the goal. If you grab weights and things aren't in perfect alignment and you already don't have like perfectly healthy shoulders, the weight can actually kind of impinge and hinder this. So 2 or 3 pounds if you would like to would be my top recommendation for weights. Yeah, but do this one in front of a mirror. Make sure arms aren't coming forward like this. Make sure the elbows aren't bent too much and hands aren't coming into the armpits like this. You just want to keep, hence the name 90-90. We have a 90 degree in the elbow and we keep a 90 degree here. So that's why it's called 90-90, okay? That is our main shoulder mobility one for the week. Okay, next station is another shoulder one, but it's kind of a shoulder release. It's really common with physical therapy, actually. And I've done it in the past, haven't done it for a while. It's a rag doll arm. There's a lot of names for it. That's kind of a more casual name. We're going to do 30 seconds on each side of this. So you support yourself, kind of like how we would support ourselves for our typical back row exercise. You kind of support yourself the same way. And you just support yourself on that one leg. Let your arm completely hang, completely weightless. That can be, if we are someone who tends to be very tense, and a lot of us are tense and we don't even realize that we carry tension. We walk around like this all day and we might not even realize it. So just try to let all that go, because just letting your arm loose can already be hard. We might be like this and we don't even realize it, tense. The goal here is just to let gravity take the arm, and you want to be doing some like super loose little circles like this. Now, these circles are, you can't see me doing it because it's so subtle, but I'm using like a sway of my body and kind of like gravitational pull. I don't know if that's the proper term, to create these circles. I'm not using like force, I'm not using tension or contraction, to make these circles. It's really just like if you were to have a coin or a ring at the bottom of a piece of string, and just over time, like over a few seconds, that coin would just start to kind of circle. It's kind of like that. You can kind of, if you want to switch direction halfway, go for it. But at the 30-second mark of the set, we're just gonna switch arms. It's very important that you are supporting yourself on this other leg here, because we don't want any strain on the back. So we don't want to be like hunched over like this. So definitely support yourself on that other leg. If you want, you can even sit, grab a chair or a bench and sit and rest. Pretend I'm sitting. Rest your arm, your elbow on your leg, and sit. Because we don't want tension anywhere in the body. We just want a fully relaxed arm. Okay, so that is ragdoll arm, 30 seconds on each arm for each of the 2 rounds. Next one is tabletop hip circles. So we're getting to some hip mobility here. So tabletop always means you're on your hands and your knees. Okay, and we first want to find nice form first with just our positioning. So hands under shoulders, start with hips on knees under hips. Okay. You always want a neutral spine and neck, so don't be looking forward like this. Be just gazing straight down. Okay, and hip circle. So we take the knee one side, and we kind of go back first. Draw a big circle. You basically think of drawing a big circle with your knee, and that's the best way to picture it. So draw a big circle with your knee. Return to center, or return to starting position. Draw a big circle with your knee. Slow and control. We're not going for speed here. We're going for as big of a circle as you can. However, without sacrificing your body position. So we don't want to lean to the side like this to get a bigger circle. So keep your body position relatively still. Let me double check. I could have looked at this beforehand. I can't remember if we're doing all on one side. Yes. To be able to really focus on one leg at a time, one side at a time, we're going to do all of round 1 on one side, but at the halfway point, so at the 30-second point, we're going to switch direction. So now if it would be 30 seconds, now I'm going to go forward with my circles first. See how I'm going forward. So 30 seconds each direction. Round 1, we will do one side. Round 2, we will do the other side. So you don't have to worry about switching sides halfway through for that one. Anyone not getting onto the floor? We're going to do a standing step over. Feel free to hold on to a wall or something for balance, but it will look like this. Okay, now you're kind of drawing like the circle in front of you with your knee, or maybe think of it like drawing a circle with your foot, but it's called a step over. Kind of like you're stepping over something, a small low fence, stepping over like the bathtub ledge, stepping into a car, something like that. A visual I know is kind of always helpful. The only difference is you end right where you started. So here's my starting point, lift, circle, I'm ending right where I started. I'm going to continue that forward circle the whole first 30 seconds. Now switching direction looks like this. I'm going out first, lifting, coming in, out, lift, coming in. So I always start and end each rep with feet together. So I just want to make sure no one's ending out here, because you always start and end with feet together. So round 1, one side, round 2, other side, no matter which variety you are doing. Next one, another floor exercise, scapular protraction. So protraction means kind of forward, retraction is backwards. So laying on the floor, you do want knees bent, feet on the floor. That's just for lower back support, really, because when your legs are out straight, sometimes we kind of pop up our lumbar or lower back. Okay, so head resting on the floor, arms are straight up. Okay, again, you can do it similar as to the first exercise. You can do fingers pointed, or you can do a light fist, whatever you prefer. So what we are doing is we're keeping the arms straight, so no bend in the elbow, and it's like you're trying to punch the ceiling. lifting the shoulder, and if you can, a little bit of the shoulder blade off the floor. So the movement is very small. It's only an inch or two. And then come back down and push the shoulders into the floor. Punch the ceiling, protract, going forward, back down. Punch the ceiling, come back down. You can do this with light weights as well, 2 or 3, maybe 5 pounds. Or you can even do it with like a rod. If your club has like a dowel, very lightweight dowel, you can do that by holding onto a very lightweight dowel as well. So I hope you can see the movement's so small. I just hope you can see it. You do want to hold the lifted position for maybe 3 to 5 seconds and then come down. I'll show you one more. Punch the ceiling, hold it 3 to 5 seconds, and then release for a quick rest. The important thing is that when you come down, you're not doing this and bending the elbows and then like doing this and thrusting. Notice, I'll just show you one arm to show you this last time to get my point across. How I'm doing this rep, never bending my elbows. See this protraction and retraction without bending the elbows. Now, if anyone not getting onto the floor, you do that same thing standing. Now you can't do weights if you are standing, because when you're lying down, you're using the weights with gravity. Now, if you're standing and holding weight, it's just going to be hurting your shoulders because you're with weight and your arm extended, all that's doing is aggravating your shoulders. So you can't do weights if you are standing, but it's the same thing. Protract and retract. So it's kind of like you're rounding your upper back and then coming back to posture. Okay, it's a great one for this upper back, shoulders, rear delts. All right, let's give it a try. All right, a supine side to side stretch. This is a good lumbar, hip, low back, mid back stretch. Okay. On your back, arms straight out for that's mostly for leverage. And knees are bent, feet on the floor. We're going to dip to one side very slowly. If you can get all the way twisted, great. If not, fine. You go as far as you can. Hold it as long as you want, really, a couple seconds. Back to center. Slowly. And twist to the other side. But you do want to have both feet lift off the floor. If you'll notice my foot position, both of my feet are now off the floor and lying on their side. You see my feet? Yeah. Hopefully I'm in frame. Okay. And then slowly back to center. Both feet on the floor. One more time. I'll show you going this way. The feet are both lifted now on their side. And so on. Everything with this one is very slow moving. You're not whipping around or jerking around or anything. Forgot what I was going to say with that. Just go as far as you can from side to side. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. You will start to scoot around a little bit, kind of move around off your mat. So every few reps, if you have to reposition, that's totally fine. If you're staying off the floor, it'll look quite a bit different, but it has the same effect. You'll do a seated twist. So you can sit on anything, kind of feet spread apart a little bit. You'll use the outside of your knee for leverage, and then just place your hand. If you have a bench that cuts off right here, you could grab the outside of that bench for more leverage. Otherwise, just place your hand here. If it's something larger like this, you just pull yourself around as far as you can. Let your head and your gaze turn to. So like I wouldn't be twisting, but looking forward. No, you're going to turn your head to. And then just simply slowly switch sides. Hold it for that 3 to 5 seconds or however long you like. So kind of the same, similar focus, similar muscles. You get that nice rotation, feels really good in the hips and glutes. So that is our side to side stretch. Okay, and the last station is supine dorsiflexion stretch. So that is ankle focus, which we don't do very often and really actually should do more of, because ankle mobility, even though it sounds minor and not like a big deal, if you don't focus on it ever, it can actually create some problems down the line. So anyways, you'll need one of these big body bands. And when you want to start with the band on kind of the ball of your foot. You want to make sure it's not too close to the tip of the toe, because then it could like slide off like this. So keep that in mind. I think it's best to put it on the foot before you lie back, personally. So I'm going to do that now. You lie back, the other leg is bent, knee bent, foot on the floor. So really quick before we actually start the exercise, because you'll need to know this. This is my foot just relaxed. This is a pointed foot. We don't need this. I'm just showing you the difference. This is a flexed foot. You need to know what a flexed position is. That is when you pull the toes down towards you, or like towards you, or in this position, in this case, towards the floor. But a flexed foot is what we are focusing on with this particular exercise. So the band is really just assisting us in a slightly more intense stretch. That's all we're doing with the band. And even though this is an ankle and foot focused movement today, you're gonna feel some stretch in your calf and like your lower hamstring here. So just be aware of that too. So what we're doing here is we're gonna flex. I'm gonna flex my foot with, I'm gonna show you again with this foot, which is pulling my toes like this as much as I can with just the strength of my ankle, because there's not much you can see here. I have to kind of talk you through it because it's such a small movement. But I'm using the band to just kind of pull a little more pressure, a little more than my foot can do on its own. And I'm going to hold that for about 3 to 5 seconds. And then I'm just going to relax everything for a quick little rest. And I'm going to do it again. So here I am again, flexing my foot and then just pulling the band a little more than I can pull on my own. And relax. And I will keep doing that for the duration of the minute set. You want your leg position, you want it to be mostly straight. Like I can get my leg 100% straight. That's not necessary. Soft bend in the knee, like we say for almost everything. But we don't want it bent like this much. That won't do the trick. So we do want it to be mostly straight, soft bend in the knee. Anyone staying off the floor, it'll be very, very similar. You'll be seated on a bench or something, but you do need to be very close to the edge. Just keep that in mind. If you're too far back, you just can't straighten your leg very well, so you just need to be close to the edge. And same placement with the band. You need to be like foot on the very edge of the heel, tip of the heel on the floor, and all the same cues. I'm gonna flex my foot and just give this a little tug, so I'm creating a little more of a contraction or a squeeze than I can naturally, and then kind of relaxing it. Doing that again. And relaxing, and so on for the duration of that minute. So again, I don't know if I already said this, we're gonna do 1 full minute on one side, and the second round, the second minute on the other side. That way we don't have to worry about switching the band halfway through. All right, so that's our ankle focused stretch for this mobility week. Okay, in our team builder, I haven't done this for a super long time. So, well, it's not our team builder again, it's a finisher. So you'll be working on your own here. Some people pick this up really, really fast. Some people, it takes a little bit of practice. It really depends on everybody individually. It's like right brain, left brain, coordination. Maybe those are the only 2 things. I don't know. We'll see. You can do it standing. It's a little tricky standing. If you're gonna do it standing, I recommend holding something for balance. So you can also you can go sit on a piece of equipment somewhere around the gym, stay close to the turf so we're all together, but you can sit anywhere. But it's gonna be tapping the toes of one foot and the heel of the other foot at the same time, not alternating, not switching off, at the same time. So I like to say start doing one. Maybe if I turn to the side, start doing one. I'm tapping my toes obviously here, and then add the heel of the other side. Now, if you just ended with a dorsiflexion stretch as your last thing, your ankle might be a little tired of what, but it is what it is. So just practice it. Toes on one foot, and then at the same time, the heel of the other foot. I have noticed dancers and musicians, if you have that in your background, it tends to go a little smoother for the, and if you're seated, it'll be, oh my goodness, it'll be the same. If you don't want to worry about the balance component at all of it, same thing, start the toes of one foot and then add in the heel of the other foot. It's really just, it's a coordination thing, take some practice, and it's kind of like riding a bike where like it just clicks, and then once the click happens, it's like you just got it. But sometimes it takes a while for that click to fall into place. So give it a try. I think it's super fun. We're just going to try a random amount of time on each side. We'll see how it goes. Okay, everybody. Well, that is week 10. That's mobility. So hope you enjoy some of these mobility movements. And yeah, I will see you back in week 11.